Thanks for joining us today on the Man Blitz. I'd just like to take a moment to remind you to follow us on Twitter at Man Blitz. Visit us at www.3manblitz.com. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, and don't forget to view us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Man Blitz. I'm your boy, Andrew, and with me, as always, Jeremy and Queasy.
Yes, sir.
What's up? We're going to be talking about the NFL today, some of the crap that went on this past week, including the Sunday night game. We know most of you saw some of that. But before we do any of that, let's take a sip. Let's drink a beer. Let's do what we do. Some of you say, Andrew, what's in that mason jar? You know what's in the mason jar.
It's probably some type of alcohol.
Unless he got it from a homeless dude. You know that?
Yeah, we all got our kinks, bud.
You guys are weird.
All right. So, Sunday night game. I'm opening it up right here.
You guys are weird.
I like using this analogy. I keep going back to it because it's just like a perfect fit. Tom Brady, he's Nick Fury here. He's assembled the Avengers in Tampa. I'm going to keep going there. And they get their asses kicked by the Saints. Really they got destroyed. And to add insult to injury, the Saints put in Jameis Winston. Okay.
I had passed out by that point. I didn't realize they put in Jameis.
So my question for you is, what's with the Bucs, and why were the Saints so easily able to dominate them? And who wins the division, and do both teams make the playoffs? Go.
Why were they so able to dominate them? They just got their number. And plus, the Saints are definitely a regular season team. You've seen them dominate during the season before. Sean Payton's one of the best head coaches there is. He will come up with schemes on the fly, in a sense. You know, he can come after halftime. If you play him, of course, more than once, he's going to dominate you. So he's actually beat them already earlier in the season, so he swept them now, which technically is going to officially put them number one over Tampa Bay, no matter what. I do think they'll still make the playoffs. They'll be like a 6th seed. That conference is pretty weak in a sense, especially over there with the Cowboys and the Redskins and stuff. So they'll still make the playoffs easily. I think so. During that game, they just shut them down in every aspect. You had Hendrickson, sack him twice, shut down the run game. They only get 8 yards the whole game, which is what's the word for terrible?
Terrible.
Terrible.
3
interceptions. So every aspect of that game, they covered them and was at them. Brady's one of the best with if you're blitzing him, he can step out. But Lattimore had one of his best wide receivers covered up. So even if he beat that blitz, he couldn't go to him for a first option in a sense. So Antonio Brown was still brand new. I'm sure he learned, quarterback, wide receiver conversations. I'm sure he had plays in their head, but still.
I'll tell you what he learned. He learned real quick. Oh, crap. I done made a mistake.
I mean, Antonio Brown's one of the best, man, even though he's a little wacky, but he's one of the best, man.
A little wacky?
I saw an interview with him. He said all the right things in the interview, how he's maturing and took a long, hard look at himself. But whatever. It definitely what happened was it's pretty simple. The Saints took Tampa Bay completely out of their game plan on offense and defense. They were able to pressure Brady, and they had no answer for it. You know that Tampa wanted to be more balanced. They wanted to run the football way more to keep the football out of Drew Brees' hands, and they had a total of 5 carries. 5 carries. That's all they did. Ronald Jones had 3 carries. Leonard Fournette had 1 carry, and Blaine Gabbert had a carry. Literally, that's it. That's the only times they tried to run the football. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, they put the smack down. Now,
and then on the flip side, not to catch up quiz, just real quick. On the flip side, the Saints, man, they had their way with Tampa. I think they also tried to blitz, but they had their number, like you said earlier. They were dumping it off when they had to, throwing long, run plays looked good. And, of course, they
and
scored.
Michael Thomas was back, too.
Yeah, Michael Thomas catching everything thrown his way. And they scored so quickly that it took them out of their game plan, and they had no answer. And
exactly.
They were just done. 31-0 at halftime.
I see Andrew Twigton.
I had a Tampa Bay fan describe this game to me. He said there was one play in particular that stood out. He said snap was bobbled and fumbled around and dropped on the ground or whatever, and Drew Brees picked it back up and just kind of sat there for a second and looked around, and he was like, yeah, guess I better throw it, and just chunks the ball downfield. And that was basically like the story of the whole game. And I'm like, all right, man, I feel you.
Yeah. But as far as the other questions, I think the Saints obviously have that division wrapped up. Tampa's way too good. I don't know what that game – I think that's an outlier game. Definitely one that everybody else is going to look at to see how to defeat them. But I think they do make wild card. I think they'll make wild card.
And again, you got to remember that the playoffs is extended this year as far as how many people can make it. So I don't know if that with that extension, if that number you're looking at is still going to be that wild card or if they're going to be officially –
I don't know. I believe even the ones they added were at extra wild card.
They upped it from 12 to 16, didn't they? I was thinking.
No, I think it was just like one more team or something like that.
I think it's 14. Well, they did 14.
Okay. But with saying that, let me say this much. So with saying that, I do think the Bucs will beat them if they have to play them in the playoffs.
Whew. I don't know, man. Saints are really good. Saints are good.
Well, and to your point that you made earlier about Sean Payton just having Bruce Arians' number and knowing what to do to Tampa, I don't know that you just overcome that deficit like that.
And again, I'm just going off a history of both teams, as far as in a sense both players, because that's Tom Brady and Drew Brees. Definitely, Tom Brady's made his life in the playoffs and in the Super Bowls.
That's true.
And Brees has been in the playoffs, and everybody had put all their chips in it, like, they're going to do it this year, and numerous times they failed. Not like the Ravens, but they have still failed.
Yep. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Now, this one here is for Queasy. We're going to talk a little bit about the undefeated Steelers, the only undefeated NFL. So, Queasy, riddle me this. The Steelers make 8-0 for the first time in franchise history, which actually kind of blew my mind a little bit. Looking at their schedule, do they deserve the Super Bowl hype? Who is their legitimate number one receiver? And what do you make of their close win versus the Cowboys and their fourth-string quarterback?
Let me say this much. I like the Steelers, like my second favorite team. Of course, I love my Falcons, but Steelers like my second favorite team. Anyway, they have 4 players out this going to be so far with COVID this week that just popped up.
That was just announced, including Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
Exactly, including Roethlisberger and Vince Williams, which is one of our best linebackers. So that's going to hopefully they're actually not the ones with it, but they are quarantined right now and going to get tested. If they pass their test, they will be able to play, as far as I know, this coming Sunday. Remember this, too. Pittsburgh did have their bye week pushed up. So they had the bye week on the 4th, or the 4th week.
Yeah, versus that game versus the Titans.
Exactly. So hopefully these the wear and tear doesn't mount onto them, because again, it's just different kind of situation we're in right now. As far as their schedule, should they get the Super Bowl hype? Definitely get the Super Bowl hype. They're tough. You've seen their defense, outstanding. But with their schedule, all they have is Baltimore and Buffalo that can maybe give them a stumble. So they should win it out. Other than that, and they've already beat Baltimore once.
Yep.
So it's looking good on that. My thing I always mention with which I thought they was going to take care during the offseason is Roethlisberger. He's guaranteed to get an injury.
Oh yeah.
Every year. I don't care if he sprains a toe, get poked in the eye.
It should just be a contract.
Get his mustache plucked. Something's going to happen to him during the season. Yeah, and we've seen that this past game where he got his knees tweaked, and actually I'm hearing that both his knees are kind of bothering him right now, but should still play. Now I said they should either go after Winston or Cam Newton to be their backup. I think both of them would have done a good job for their backup, and definitely prepared them for an extended season. In other words, going into the playoffs and making a Super Bowl run, even if your quarterback went out.
Having a fresh guy, yeah.
Exactly. You have Rudolph, which you shown last year. He can, all he can do is take a helmet to the head. That's just, other than that, good.
Legitimate number one receiver.
That is a question that does not need to be answered. And I'm saying that only because Steelers are known to have wide receivers, a long history of wide receivers. They have Claypool, rookie, extraordinary, 6'4", been catching everything. Deontay Johnson's been blowing up. Williams. James Washington's been killing it. Of course, and then you still have Juju. Now, all these wide receivers have their dominant game, and so that's one good thing to have wide receivers on a level like that, where it's just not just I got to go to one side.
Right.
Now, let me say this much, and I got to read this. Let me say this much again. Steelers are known to have wide receivers. Let me give you a little insight. Mike Wallace, San Antonio Holmes, Hines Ward, classic. Lynn Swan, classic.
Oh,
yeah, and Antoine Randall L. Remember him too? Plexico Burrs, I didn't even know they had him. Plexico Burrs.
One time, yeah.
Yeah. Emmanuel Sanders, I remember him. Martavius Bryant still killing. And of course, on top of it all, you still got Antonio Brown. So they have a long history. That's his son. They have a long history of picking, drafting great wide receivers. They drafted one, of course, Claypool in this draft, and Claypool kind of low. And as soon as I see he went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be a beast." Whoever, I didn't even see him play.
Yeah.
I already knew.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but Deontay Johnson too, man. Deontay Johnson,
exactly.
Real good. Yeah, that dude's amazing. So,
all right. Well, I like your answer. I can respect that. And moving on, what do you make of their close win versus the Cowboys and their fourth-string quarterback?
That's the Steelers and how they play. And I'm saying that because Steelers are known to, especially Roethlisberger, anytime they're away from home, they go down. And also, the Steelers like to play to the level of their competition. So, I'm sure they went in there thinking, oh, this is the eighth-string quarterback straight out of high school, whoever he is, and we're going to just do whatever. But it was a big struggle. And now, on the other side, the flip side, the Cowboys have nothing to lose. So they're going to come out and give their all every single game and, make it ugly.
I will say,
Ella was even hurt a little bit, but he decided to still play.
I will say, despite expectations for that game, it actually turned out to be a very good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much better than what everybody thought was going to be. Definitely. A slaughter. I mean, I did.
All right, Queasy, thank you for your answers. And moving on, Jeremy. What you got for me, buddy? Russell Wilson. He was sacked 5 times, threw 2 interceptions, and lost 2 fumbles in the 34-44 loss to the Bills. Is he still in the league for MVP? Who else is in the conversation? And who is your midseason MVP?
As far as the MVP goes, we'll just start there. I've looked at them, and there's a couple guys that come to mind when I think about the MVP for the league this year. And just so happens that maybe 2 of the 3 that I would put in the top 3 had really bad showings, and that would be Russell Wilson and it'd be Tom Brady, right? And Tom Brady just put up a terrible, maybe the worst performance we've seen in his entire career probably. Mm-hmm. That really hurt his chance. If he'd had a mediocre game even, maybe that kind of necks him out or puts him real close. But I'd still say Russell Wilson's in there. Yeah, he had a bad game. He got sacked a few times, had a couple turnovers, and over the past couple weeks, in all honesty, he's not done great. They just got done beating the Niners the week before and lost to the Cardinals in a tight game where he had some turnovers. But he's still on pace to beat the touchdown record, like 56 or whatever it is. So he's still doing things, he still has his 2 big-time receivers. He's still doing a lot. I think what's hurting them right now is there's so much that's just on him because the defense, I mean, where are they at? And they ain't the Legion of Boom no more.
No.
And, they got real good receivers, but the running backs have been banged up. I think their starter and Chris Carson and their backup are both injured, and they're having to, put in DJ Dallas or whatever his name is. So, they don't really have a whole lot of running game going right now. So it's all Russell Wilson, But, when you look at it, the other couple guys I talked about is Pat Mahomes, of course. He's tearing it up. Aaron Rodgers is doing real well. I would say right now Josh Allen maybe even. But right now, I would still say it's Russell Wilson. You know, he might not have the greatest showing, but he still put up a lot of numbers, you know. And at the end of the day, it's all pageantry, right? Everybody, when they look at MVP, it's usually always a quarterback, and it's always who has the best numbers. And right now, he has the best numbers. So.
And somebody slipping in and sneaking in the back door.
Ooh, back door.
Yeah. Tannehill.
Yeah. Tannehill's not done bad. And, you know, he's just having to he's getting it done where he has to, you know.
Exactly.
And
you know, people got lost with Henry last year and thought Tannehill might be an outlier, but he's showing it once again this year. Again, it ain't shiny, but he's doing his thing.
And Big Ben too, in that same league as Tannehill.
I think you have to talk about it. You have to talk about Big Ben in there. I mean, they're undefeated.
Yeah.
And if you look at MVP, what I always think about MVP, right, is what kind of impact do they have on the team?
Yeah.
And we saw it last year. The Steelers were garbage without Big Ben. Now they're undefeated. I mean, so it's a real good point. I'd have to throw Big Ben up in there. Maybe he a lot higher on the list. Should be. Anyway.
So who is your nominated midseason MVP?
Midseason, I mean, you can throw it anywhere you want, really. I would still go with Russell Wilson.
Russell.
Yeah, because like I said, it's pageantry. So.
Yeah. I think Russell Wilson, but if you got to do a midseason, they're still probably gonna go with Mahomes. You know, he's still the brand new toy. So
yeah.
And they know he can be the face of the league. It can be like a Jordan thing, and they're gonna push this dude as much as they can. So
you know, I'm kind of getting that vibe. I'm definitely getting that vibe.
Yeah.
And you know, Mahomes, he has an embarrassment of riches on offense. I mean, everywhere you look, tight end, receiver, running back, it's not just one guy. It's like two guys, three guys.
But I need Le'Veon Bell to do something for me on my fantasy team. Thank you, please.
No kidding. No kidding. All right, gentlemen. Well, we're going to wrap this episode up with our fourth down segment. You can punt or you can go for it. I've got a couple of topics here to talk about. So you guys feel free to jump in whenever you feel like it.
All right.
First topic, the Dolphins.
Let me go for real quick. I'm going to go for it. Tua definitely stepped his game up this time. 248 yards from correct. Very efficient. 20 for 28. Had a very good game. Worked well with Devontae Parker. So, you know, but the bad news is he got sacked 3 times, which you don't want him in particular to get sacked. But other than that, he had like a great looking game.
Yeah, I got to go for it. I mean, how can you not be excited about Miami right now? I mean, they look really good. Tua's in there. He's doing his thing. You know, he's doing enough where he doesn't look like he's having a lot of these rookie woes. The defense is playing good. The offense, you know, they actually have something going there. Yeah. This is the first time you could say that about Miami legitimately in forever. And, you know, I like it in the AFC East because it's no longer just the Patriots and 3 other teams that are, you know, shuffling to see who's going to be last. The Dolphins are somewhat legit. We'll see how they're going. The Bills are legit, and I like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't really like Tua, though, but whatever.
All right. Chargers.
I'm a punt.
I mean, I'm going to punt with just by saying I like Herbert. I like Herbert.
I like Herbert.
I like Herbert.
All right, Panthers.
I did get McCaffrey back on my fantasy team. Put him on the bench because I didn't think he'll do much, but he just sat on my bench. He got me 31 points.
Killed it.
He had 68% snap share.
Exactly. But I will say this. I did see recently that he did hurt his shoulder, so within that game. So I think they're going to kind of maybe even the next game slow him down and try to do that more over the share.
I will say they took the Chiefs down to the wire in that one.
They really did. Piggybacking off what you said, Queasy, I mean, they really should at least take it easy a little bit. I know I have him on one of my fantasy squads too, and I would love to see him continue. And I don't think the shoulder's serious, but you do have Mike Davis, and he showed that he can do some CMC things.
Yes.
So, you know, you can even put him on the field at the same time and use Christian McCaffrey as a decoy.
Hey, let's start doing that next season after my fantasy team is over. Okay.
All right. Moving on. Lamar Jackson. You both are going for it. I can see the look on your face.
You know, I mean, he's showing more and more of his game, and it's not elevating in a sense, but people want to like the Ravens, and I'm not trying to diss the young man, but you've got to step up to another level in order to separate your team from everybody else.
Yeah, and he really didn't have a bad game this past one.
No.
I think he was 19 of 23, 170 yards.
Exactly, 170 yards.
And they beat Indianapolis in the AFC. Their defense is probably one of the better ones, at least it has been, and they beat them 24-10. So he's not having that MVP caliber season, but he's doing what he has to do. They're 6-2, so I think it's just not as sexy, right? Nobody's looking at him thinking he's legit. He's not running all over the place. He's just doing what he has to do. Yeah. And I think they'll take that as long as they can, get beat playoff.
I mean, get wins, right?
Wins. Just win, baby.
I mean, off the top of my head, it still struggle to name more than two people, probably three on offense.
Yeah,
3 household name guys, yeah.
Yeah, you got Hollywood Brown, J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram, and then you got the Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like
and then Lamar Jackson. You got a handful of guys you can name off the top of your head. Yeah. All right. I told you guys I was just going to do one more, but I'm going to do 2 more, and I think you're going to see why. Gardner Minshew.
Did he shave his mustache or something?
But, what's sad is that would be big time news. At least for the 3-man blitz, it would be.
It would be.
No, I mean, I'll go for it just because I like to talk. But he's hurt. Jake Luton or whatever, Luton, whatever, his backup came in and played pretty well. Took the Texans down to the wire, but he's got a fractured hand or whatever it is. So,
and I mean, there's been talk about the Jags taking a quarterback. I mean, do they need to? Can he get the job done? Does he have the weapons? I mean,
what do you? I'm gonna say this: the Jags don't want to win. They don't care.
It doesn't look like it.
So unless they get the number 1 pick, they won't get a quarterback, or they won't care. It don't matter.
And here's the thing, again, to piggyback off you, Queasy, because I like what you're saying. And, we've talked about this with the Jags. What is it? I mean, it doesn't look like they want to win. Their defense looks terrible, and they let pieces leave. I mean, what are you doing? And you're worried about your quarterback position. You're 1-7. Yeah, I get it. Minshew may not be the future, and that's fine. Yeah. But, I mean, are you telling me that if you get a number 1 receiver a number 1 quarterback, you can have the best quarterback there if you want, but is it really going to make a huge difference?
And the only one
3 wins right now. Come on.
I think the only way they'll take a quarterback is if they get the number 1 with the
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. That's it. Because they would want a shiny toy to bring people into the seats. That's it.
That's Jets all day.
Yeah.
That actually rolls right into my next subject. You guys are talking about a quarterback with no weapons, just being a shiny toy.
Oh God, you didn't talk about Cam.
No. Sam Darnold.
That's another team, of course, doing very well and not winning. So Sam Darnold, I don't think is a horrible quarterback, really. I think the coach is really the problem. So the Jets are just the Jets.
Well, I mean, Joe Flacco is like the guy now. So what do you do?
I think he's only the guy now because Darnold got nicked up, and he did look good. They looked good against the Patriots, but the Patriots aren't good right now, and the Jets are still losing. They haven't won a game. Okay, Adam Gase, man, Adam Gase is garbage.
It is Adam Gase, but you're saying, okay, the Jets are going to take a quarterback if they get that first pick, which is looking like they will. They want Trevor Lawrence. So then, what of Sam Darnold?
Trade him.
Is he a bad quarterback? No.
Here's another thing. It's kind of rolling off what I just said about the Jags. The Jets, is that their missing piece is quarterback? No. So they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. I guarantee it. Maybe they don't. Maybe they trade out and they get other picks. That's what I would do. But I don't know.
I mean, what makes you want to watch the Cincinnati Bengals?
Bro,
that's it. You know what I'm saying? So they know people are going to start buying shirts, coming to the seats just to see this one player play. They don't care about winning the division. Care about winning the Super Bowl. None of that.
I will say the Jets do have pieces. Maybe he comes in and does well, but I doubt it's year 1. He's not going to make them a championship contender overnight.
No.
It's a complete rebuild. I mean, let's be honest. And I doubt Adam Gase is going to be at the head of it because he's a garbage coach. He shows it year after year. And look at the Dolphins. They left. I mean, he had some good pieces there, I guess, but look at him now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not world beaters either. But
that was a culture change. 100% culture change. Adam Gase is a cancer. I'll say it again.
He's bad.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your answers. You guys, you killed it. We got some good content out here. So, as always, if you want even more good content, make sure you subscribe to our page. Make sure you like us on social media. Follow us. Right. We always got that good. We got that good. See it? All right, guys. Till next time, go for 3.
Go for 3, guys.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Queasy at RastaLion1131, Jeremy at CheckerboardJ, and me at Jedi Quarterback.